today in the news on Vanguard Live. My name is Moralake Ademiju. We begin with the top stories of the dailies this morning, starting with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with integrity of our elections non-negotiable. AMUPITAN INEC CHAIR says, we will demonstrate our commitment with Anambra Governor poll. Serve with integrity beyond reproach. Tinubu charges AMUPITAN. Page 5 has the story. And there is a photo story here. Tinubu swears in new INEC chair. PDP National Chair, Turaki emerged not consensus candidate. BOT slams Anyewu's forgery allegation as baseless. Diri has lost legitimacy to continue in office as governor, BOT chair says. Labour crisis. Usman demands former acting INEC chairman's arrest. Election petition. Opposition parties back Senate on shifting burden of proof to INEC. Page 35 has that story. Above the banner says, stock market capitalization inches towards 100 trillion naira. Oyi, Anambra East local government area, boost Soludo with endorsements and donations. Page 4 has that story. Alleged terrorism. Kanu sacks legal team to open defense today. And lastly on the Vanguard newspaper, PDP, Jonathan under pressure to drop 2027 presidential ambition. You can find that story on page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper. Away from the Vanguard into the Nation. Nation leading story says, transparency, credibility, integrity must define elections, says Tinubu. AMUPITAN, Anambra poll will demonstrate INEC's high standard. Above the banner says, consensus Chabi, PDP spilled over ex-minister Turaki. Page 3 has the story. EFCC backs student loan, consumer credit with 100 billion naira. Ayedatiwa in Akumba Akoko after truck crash kills 8. And lastly on the Nation newspaper, First Lady inaugurates digital learning centers in 10 states. You can find that story on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Away from the Nation into the Guardian. Guardian leading story says, Tinubu demands credible elections as AMUPITAN faces Anambra ordeal. Page 6 has that story. Defection. Makinde, APC Senate decry lack of political ideology in Nigeria. Kanu sacks legal team up to represent self in court. Page 9 has the story. EFCC will recover 566 billion naira, $411 million, 1,502 properties in 2 years. Challenging elections in court makes mockery of Nigerian National Assembly lament. Page 7 has the story. And lastly on the Guardian newspaper, 22,050 displaced children back to school in 3 northwest states, says SCI. You can find the story on page 38 of the Guardian newspaper. And lastly, the Punch is leading with Tinubu to AMUPITAN, make 2027 polls transparent and violence-free. New INEC boss steps in, vows to restore voters' confidence. Tinubu advice on reforms. Page 2 has the story. Above the banner says, wealth means nothing without a good name. Keshington Adebutu says. Medical tourism spending falls 52% under Tinubu CBN report. And lastly on the Punch newspaper, 2027, Jonathan faces mounting pressure to drop presidential bid. You can find that story on page 3 of the Punch newspaper. And that's all we have for the headline of the dailies. Join us after the short break for a brief analysis of some of the stories. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Today in the News from Vanguard Live. My name is Moralake Ademiju. Let's dive into our first story of the day. Integrity of our elections, non-negotiable, AMUPITAN INEC chair says. The new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Joash AMUPITAN, yesterday vowed to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's electoral process, describing it as non-negotiable. Speaking as he assumed work at the INEC headquarters in Abuja during his inaugural meetings with directors after being sworn in by President Bola Tinubu, the new election chief pledged to deliver free, fair and credible elections that reflect the true will of Nigerians. He promised to demonstrate his commitment to credible polls with the November 8 Anambra State governorship election. AMUPITAN re-echoed his promise during his screening by the Senate on October 16, when he said that under his watch, losers will congratulate winners after election. The INEC chairman also emphasized the need for synergy and collaboration among all departments of the Commission, noting that credibility in elections depends largely on internal efficiency and collective responsibilities. Now let's move into our second story of the day. Jonathan pressure to drop 2027 presidential ambition, PDP says. Former President Goodluck Jonathan is reportedly under intense pressure to drop speculated 2027 presidential ambition and support President Bola Tinubu's re-election bid, Vanguard has gathered. According to reliable sources, the pressure is being spearheaded by influential Niger Delta figures, including ex-militant leader, Chief Government Ekpemukolu, popularly known as Tompolo. Some of Jonathan's kingsmen in the Niger Delta are said to have urged him to shelve any plans to return to power and instead back Tinubu's second-term bid. Tompolo sources said, recently visited Jonathan at his country home in Otuoke, Ogbai local government area of Bayelsa State, to personally appeal to him on the matter. The visit reportedly took place on October 16, with Tompolo accompanied by the managing director of Tantisa Security Services Nigeria Limited, Chief Kestin Pondi, and the APC deputy governorship candidate in the 2023 Bayelsa election, Mr. Joshua Maxiva, among others. Thanks for joining us once again. That will be all for today. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms displaying on your screen. And you can also visit us on our website for more interesting stories at www.vanguardngr.com.